Wasn't long ago, I had a vision, DC City. What's going on, Wiz Nation and Mystics Nation? It's your main man, K. Jose, aka DC HOOPLA, and welcome to another episode of DC HOOPLA, where I cover Wizards and Mystics basketball. I've pretty much been talking more Wizards than Mystics. I know the Mystics, they're currently on break due to the Olympics, with Tina Charles actually playing in the Olympic team, as well as Ariel Atkinson. Kudos to the both of those two women as they represent the city. But today, once again, I'm talking Wiz basketball. So there's an update, and the update is that Bradley Beal has not asked for a trade from the Wizards, but he is still thinking about his future with the team. That's the new report coming out. Apparently, the gentleman who came out with the report that Bradley Beal was mulling the decision of leaving was from a guy who writes for Bleacher Report, but he was interviewed today on the Junkies, where I guess the Junkies kind of pressed him, and then he conceded that, hey, he was just speculating. But today, there's no trade request from Beal or Westbrook, but Beal is still thinking about the future of the team. Also, the other report is that Beal was pro Sam Cassell. Interesting that he was pro Sam Cassell. I saw one fan on social media said, well, it wasn't a fan. I think it was, what is his name? His name is Carroll. I think that's his last name. I don't know why the hell I want to say Chase Carroll, but I don't think that's his name, because that makes me think of Chase Hughes that writes for NBC Sports. But this guy named Carroll I saw on Twitter said that, he gave kudos to Tommy for choosing Wes Unseld Jr. instead of trying to appease Bradley Beal for wanting Sam Cassell. And I think it was the same guy, or maybe somebody responding, saying they felt that Sam Cassell wasn't going to hold Bradley Beal accountable. It would have been more of the same with Scott Brooks. Not too sure about that. Not too sure about that at all. But let's just stick with that theory, that Bradley Beal wanted a head coach that was going to cater to him. If that's the case, Washington Wizards, what are we doing here? The team has to make a decision. OKC is now a team that's saying they're willing to be a third team involved in any type of trades, because OKC has a lot of draft capital. They have a lot of draft picks that they've accumulated, the last few years. Some off trading for Westbrook, some off of trading Chris Paul, and some trading Paul George. So they got a lot of draft capital. But it's no secret that there are teams that are lining up to get Bradley Beal if he makes himself available. As a fan of the Washington Wizards, I think it is the best interest for the Wizards to do what's best for the team and not worry about what Bradley Beal wants. So you either going to build for the future, or you are going to go ahead and make moves to try to win a championship. Fact of the matter is that this man still has a guaranteed contract this coming season, and in the following season is a player's option. It's a possibility that Bradley Beal could opt out with the intentions of going where he wants to go. Now, I don't know how true it is when they say he wants to play in Boston alongside with his friend Jason Tatum. But do you want to risk Bradley Beal walking away after the 2021-2022 season, once he opts out, to go to Boston on his own to play alongside with his buddy, and you don't get shit in return because you're so busy trying to let him decide what he wants to do? I don't get it. It just Doesn't make any sense to me. So let's just look at the scenarios right now. The Wizards are in an identity crisis, as usual. They're stuck in the middle. They don't want to be bad, but they don't really want to do what they need to do to be great. So they rather settle for mediocrity. If you trade some pieces that you currently have, which is not a lot, to get a player that you would consider to be win now, what is it going to get you? The name I keep seeing being thrown around, and I mentioned this multiple times, is Jeremy Grant, who plays for the Pistons. Not too sure why I keep seeing this man's name being thrown around, but people are thinking that Jeremy Grant is going to really resolve all of our issues. And I saw where people want to compare, a team like the New York Knicks. Oh, well, the coaching changed and that team ended up being a top 4 team in the East. Yes, a coaching change does make a difference, but the New York Knicks actually made a few draft picks that weren't bad. But the coach that they got, which is Tom Thibodeau, has a system. He's a known coach to do that. Okay, he coached in Chicago. He was an assistant with the Celtics. This guy's a defensive guru. So you have to buy into his system. Now, Wes Unseld Jr. is Wes Unseld Jr. I'm not going to sit here and say that Wes Unseld Jr. is going to automatically turn us from an 8th seed to a top 4 seed. I'm not going to say that. So I think it's actually stupid to compare what the New York Knicks did to us, because there's a big difference. First of all, New York has a lot of young players, and they drafted their players. Okay? We traded away the heart and soul of this franchise for a player who wants to play his way, which is Russell Westbrook. Now you got 2 guys that want to play their way. And and you have fans out here that want this team to cater to these guys. Now, I have not been able to watch some of the Olympic Games as far as the Japan team, but Rui Hachimura, who is also a Wizard, played well last night, or either early this morning. Like, come on, man. We got to do what's best for the team. This is not the Washington West Bills. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with that. The Washington West Bills. This is not the Washington West Bills. This is the Washington Wizards. This is a team effort. And we're trying to cater to a guy who knows exactly what the hell he wants to do, but he's basically giving the organization ample opportunity to make a decision. And the organization is getting to the point where they've making their decision that they're not going to appease him anymore, because fans are now starting to speak and say, you know what, we're tired of this shit. We don't want you to do this anymore. We're frustrated that you traded away the franchise player to appease this guy. And now you're still trying to figure out a way to appease him. If he's not going to ask for the trade, and he's not going to ask for the trade, that's the thing. He's not going to ask for it. This is all part of his game. Because when we decide to move him, guess what he's going to say? Well, I didn't ask for the trade. They traded me. The team needs to grow some balls and make a damn decision. So, again, as a fan, I don't know what to say, man. I'm tired of being right about the wrong things. And what it's looking like is another season of us catering to this guy. We're going to stick with the fact that he's going to make his decision and go wherever he wants to go. But what I believe is that this guy is basically going to leave us and go wherever the hell he wants to go. That's what I feel. So, I don't know, man. I mean, as a fan, I don't know what to say. But once again, the question I have for the Washington Wizards, as always. And I'm ending this out. By the way, before I even end this episode, go follow my man, Decan, aka Wiz Takes. Follow his page on IG. Follow him on Twitter. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Follow him on, subscribe to Spotify. Subscribe to his Patreon account. Decan, aka Wiz Takes. Follow him. Wizards Mafia, the other half of the Voices Unheard. Once again, that is Wizards Mafia. IG, YouTube, Twitter. Follow him. He is another person that's speaking about the Wiz. We're not sugarcoating shit. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're going to talk about the things that's very unpopular. We're not sugarcoating a damn thing. So for the Washington Wizards, I have one question for you guys.
What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?